if you want to support the show, any of the shows, either this or whichever show, I'm not on right now because this is just a blanket ad for all of them, and the website, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com. In the description for any of the episodes of Beware of Spoilers, there is the option to donate. If you don't want to donate that way, you can donate directly through the website. We do have that, mwpnews.com. And if you don't want to support that way, then going to mwpnews.com will help out because we have ads there. We don't want to keep it, where there's a lot of ads. There's a few ads. But the point is we want to make it so that way, we can sustain this for the long term. If people donate, we're never going to paywall anything, I don't think, as of right now. But if people start donating, we'll start doing cooler and cooler stuff. Like donations are how we get to cover stuff like Tribeca and other, film festivals. And, we may be able to bring on more people to help out. So if you want to help out the show and you want more content from us, by all means, even just going and giving us a 5-star rating on Spotify helps out a lot. But that's it. That's the only ad we'll have on the podcast ever. But here's whatever podcast you're going to be listening to. Hey, so you're probably looking at this episode and thinking like, this movie is not recent. And on Beware of Spoilers, usually we get new release movies. And you're right, this is not a recent release. This is a movie that came out, I would say, based on the episodes that I've been going through, between 2018 and maybe even 2016 and 2020. We had a technical glitch back in when we had Spreaker as our thing. I don't know if it's technical glitch or a billing error or whatever, but point is, we lost a good amount of the episodes. As Spreaker, you had to pay to host, and if you didn't pay to host, you had to, you only had like 100 hours, something like that, of content of space available, maybe even less than that. Maybe even 10, but either way, you only had a certain amount of time available on your cloud. And when that happened, we lost a ton of data. So what we had, fortunately, a lot, if not all, I wouldn't say all because there were a lot that weren't, but a lot were backed up on the on YouTube. So, all of this is to say that this is an episode that previously aired, but is not currently on the podcast feed. So, in an effort to kind of flesh out some of our older reviews and get, kind of a historical record of what we thought of these movies when it happened, we're going to be putting up the episodes. Anyway, it's just the episodes with this, every Tuesday we're going to have this, and it's going to have this notation before it. I think as of right now, as of recording this, we have enough to go through January of 2025. There are quite a few episodes that we haven't put up yet. We did put up a bunch a few years ago, in July of, I think, 2022, or 2023. But this is trying to get more of them up. It's still not all, because I know I did Fast Color because I went into Manhattan to see Fast Color in a theater at the AMC in I forgot what word I'm looking for here. At the AMC in AMC Empire. I went into Manhattan to see that, and I don't have the episode for it, which is kind of weird. But regardless, the point I'm trying to make is this is a previously recorded episode that reflects my reviews usually immediately after seeing a movie. Sometimes it'll be mine and Josie or mine and Peter, because there are a few episodes they were on for. I'm fairly certain that Peter was on for like the John Wick Chapter 2 one, or John Wick Chapter 3. I'm fairly certain Josie was on for X-Men Apocalypse. So some of these will have that. Again, there should be a shortened version of this in the description, so it will be apparent. And if you want the exact date these were uploaded initially, if you go to the YouTube channel and just look for the video that corresponds to this episode, there will be the original upload date. So, I mean, and look, a lot of it is going to be, it was reasonably close to whatever day whatever day the movie came out. Usually like that. Like, if the movie came out on Friday, like, sometimes the Thursday before. But what really instigated this was on our website, mwpnews.com, we now have a section, which is an index of all of our reviewed content, and I wanted to flesh that out a little bit better. And rather than directing it sometimes within the website, sometimes to YouTube, sometimes to Spotify, it's just easier to say demarcation line if it is pre-Spotify. If it's after the date we updated it, then it's gonna stay on the website. If it's before the date we updated, it's gonna redirect within the website, and YouTube will be there if you want to watch on YouTube. But more or less, this is probably the best way to do it. But after a little 5-minute intro, enjoy this episode from 5 years ago. Welcome to Beware Spoilers. I am Adam. So this week I decided to see the movie Best of Enemies. I would be lying if I said the decision wasn't based at least 75% on the fact that Sam Rockwell's in it. I'll watch anything with Sam Rockwell in it. And those of you who are in the same boat as me will be happy to know that he did a very good job in this movie as well. This should be a short one, because most of my problems with this movie come from really the portrayal of the relationship between Anne and who's Taraji P. Henson, and Ellis, who is Sam Rockwell. They don't do enough to really show you that they should be friends, or that they are friends, or anything like that. It's if they shown that a little bit more, it would have made the ending more impactful, because it kind of just ends with, and now they're friends. And they also don't show Sam Rockwell as a sympathetic character through a lot of it. Like, yeah, he's got a son who's in a mental institution, he's got things like that, but nothing about what he's going through really gives you a reason to feel like you should be rooting for him to do anything but the right thing. It's not like there's some big moral quandary, and it's best summed up by him at the end when he's talking in front of everyone, when he's going to place the vote that is going to integrate the schools. He says, I'm supposed to hate black people, and if I don't hate black people, what does that make me? It's like, yeah, that's not something that I'm going to look at and be like, see, that's a relatable problem. I feel like I connect with that. Like, no, it's like, it's such a weird way to phrase what ultimately the conflict in the movie is, for the internal conflict of his character, is that he's supposed to hate black people, but now he's shown he shouldn't hate black people, which he should have done all along, and be a decent person. But he doesn't, and they go out there and make the Klan look worse once he's, when he's with the Klan, they don't do as much to make the Klan look bad, and then once he's out of the Klan a little bit, they make the Klan look a lot worse. It's all relative to make him look better, and I get why, because he is kind of the quote-unquote hero of the story, but it's another one of these white savior movies where it's like, see, look, the white people helped, the white people ended racism is cured, everyone go home, we're done now. But it's like, it feels like the kind of movie that if it came out when Green Book did last year, it would have got nominated for Best Picture on that alone. But yeah, and the movie is very fucking long, too, for absolutely no reason. The movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it doesn't need to be. There's a lot of things that can be cut out of the movie. On the note of cuts, there are a few times that you can tell they used different takes, because they did it, but they didn't splice it together properly, so it's like, there's a lot of inconsistencies in scenes, what's in people's hands, what's not in people's hands, things like that, which is a minor thing, but still, I noticed. Something else worth pointing out with this movie, about the theater-going experience. Number one, I think this movie was rated R because of the amount of times the N-word is thrown around in it. And I was bringing the average age of the theater down to about 75 when I walked in there. But then someone walked in with a child under a year old. Now, I get that rated R means restricted under 17 without the parental consent of an adult or something like that. But if you can't get a babysitter to go see a movie, maybe don't bring the kid with you, because they showed a trailer for The Intruder, which is Dennis... By the way, another thing, they showed like a half hour of trailers before this movie even began, and none of them matched the tone of what this movie was. So, whatever. Don't worry, it's the, what's it called? It's just a bunch of bicyclists, motorists. So, I think that what's worth pointing out, too, is that if you're going to a movie, don't shout out your predictions for what's obviously going to happen on screen. So, it's like, for example, the guy in front of me he's in his 70s, and he's seeing this movie with, I'm assuming, his wife or his girlfriend or someone, or maybe his daughter, I don't know. So they're sitting there, and it's when he's giving the speech, at the very end, Sam Rockwell's giving the speech, and he's talking about, he's like, I want to show you guys something. So he pulls out of his wallet his card from the Klan, and he goes very loudly, so everyone in the theater can hear him, because it's a very small theater, he's gonna rip it up. Like, yeah, no shit. Everyone watching the movie knows this. You're not calling out big predictions that are bold. It's like, we know what's going to happen. It's like if you read the book before you saw the movie, and you're like, so here's what's going to happen next. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. We know this already. But yeah, that's just two minor gripes. Nothing to do with the movie, but I just like, as I do every week, I like to point out things that piss me off during the showing that had nothing to do with the movie itself. Holy Christ. Every ESPN notification from the last 2.5 hours just populated into my phone at once. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's a movie that's probably worth seeing on a matinee on a Tuesday or something like that, but I wouldn't make this a date night movie or a movie. And it's like, yeah, I get why I was the youngest person in the theater besides that baby, and it's because Pet Sematary and Shazam came out this week, and, you know, it's a pretty stacked week at the box office in that respect. And then here I am seeing Best of Enemies, which is a biopic about the ending of the beginning of integration in Durham, North Carolina. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. It's an interesting movie to see how they go about this process. It's interesting to see. It could be shorter, and it could have done a better job of portraying redemption of Sam Rockwell's character rather than just making it where it's like, and now he's good. You're welcome. We fixed it. Like, I don't still, by the end of the movie, I still don't feel like he did the right thing for the right reasons. And that's a big problem that happened here. It's like when he says that if I don't hate black people, then it's like you don't really show anything up until that point to show that you don't hate black people. There's no he's still going to Klan meetings and things like that, but it's like the closest thing we could say to that is him getting an award at a Klan meeting and him looking uncertain about what he's doing there. Which up until that point could be they're setting him up for something because they're suspicious of his activities, and that could just be suspicion on his part, and him assuming the worst. And I don't know. But yeah, this might be a rental movie for most people, but it's interesting. It's entertaining to watch. Sam Rockwell's always fun to watch, and it's fun to see him play off Taraji P. Henson, and it's an all around. I would give it like a C. Don't rush out and see it. It'll be in theaters for a few weeks, and maybe see it during the week or something. But yeah, we'll wrap up with that for today. We're gonna have another movie next weekend. Maybe Missing Link, but I'm not sure. I'll see what's out. So yeah, so we'll be back with that next week, whatever we do then. So have a great rest of your week.